Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Lauren Conlon. Hope everyone had a great day. I'm here with Jeff Nadu. If you don't know him, you guys are literally missing out. You have to know this guy. Jeff is, I mean, is it okay to say mob expert, mafia expert? I felt weird saying that, but
I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, I feel like I know more about the mob than most people. I mean, I've been able to build a channel about it and get a bunch of people to follow me, and I've been right about a lot of things. So yeah, I could say, I guess so. Sure.
yeah. So that's what I'm calling you. And Jeff, so not only is he a mob expert, he has a podcast. It's great. It's called The Sit Down with Jeff Nadu. I will put that in the episode notes so you guys can go ahead and follow him there. And hey to everyone in the chat. I'm so excited. Oh, my boy Jackson is here. This is great. It's going to be a great night, guys. So a little bit earlier today, I went through part of the indictments. And I mean, they're long. They're very different, very long. But I think what I want to do now with Jeff, since we have him, is kind of go over who some of these key players are that are part of the five families in New York and what their role was in this whole rigged gambling scheme, scandal, whatever. So Jeff, I think what I'll do is I'll pull up the indictment. We can go through some names, but right off the bat, can we just talk about, I'm going to pull him up, Fat Nick. Let's talk about that because I liked that name. That actually sounded familiar to me as well. But he's definitely mentioned many times. I'm going to pull up his picture right now, but if you don't mind just taking us through who that is.
Yeah, so Fat Nick is absolutely. If you came up during the 2000s, you may remember a story involving him. It actually made national news. Fat Nick Minucci is from Howard Beach, Queens. When he graduated high school, he kind of got into the debt collection business. He was moving around with, some different folks in the Gambino crime family. He was also a guy that had some good connections. He was friends with the Gotti kids that spiked their hair. He was actually in a music video with the rapper Cassidy at one point. And Nick one night was in Howard Beach. He saw a bunch of African-Americans robbing vehicles, and he beat one of them with a baseball bat, not to death. But he ended up getting 15 years over it. It became a big thing because Howard Beach is mostly Italian, white, and the individual he beat up was a black male. It turned into a big national story, a racial thing. Nick ended up doing 15 years. He got out several years ago, and I had heard he was moving around in some gambling circles and poker games and things like that. And he looks like he's back at it.
Yeah, for sure. That's him right there. And that's so funny because that's exactly what came up when I pulled up his name. That's literally the first article that came up is the Howard Beach incident. But I'm pulling up the indictment right now, specifically for Chauncey Billups, because this is the gambling poker games, the card games and whatnot. And also, I had reported earlier today that in the other indictment, it seems like Chauncey Billups is co-conspirator number 8 in that because he is basically described as such.
Right.
And I don't know why they are not naming him, I guess, at this point, but I guess maybe we'll find out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I will say, and this is something that not anybody in the media is going to tell you, because again, you hear the word mafia, you hear the word NBA, it's all kind of very headline grabbing, right? Mm-hmm. But when you read the indictment, I want to make this clear. I don't believe, and in fact, I think it's almost a guarantee. I don't believe Chauncey Billups knows mobsters. I don't think he ever ran into any mobsters. I think there's a thought that he was like instructed to do this by a captain in the Gambino crime family. One thing you have to understand, Lauren, is in the indictment involving the poker games, there are various games in various cities around America, okay? When you play at a high-profile game in New York City, it is most abundantly clear that in some way it is connected to the mob. From what I understand, Mr. Bills was not in those games. There's a game in 2019 out in Las Vegas where he is involved in that. That is not, from what I understand, a mob-run game. So I think that's kind of important here.
Well, the indictment said that he acted as something called a face card.
Face card, correct.
Yeah, a face card where he, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it luring, but he would convince these high rollers to participate just by his status, I guess. I feel like that's something. I mean,
Lauren, if I told you that the most destructive people in this indictment are not mobsters, you probably wouldn't believe me, but they are not. There are certain individuals in this indictment that are behind all of this stuff involving both the sports betting and the poker. It all comes hand in hand together. And if you follow these other indictments, the biggest name in this indictment is a person called Shane Hennon. His name is Sugar Shane.
Okay.
In 2008, he was arrested in a coke deal in Western Pennsylvania. He flipped and became a rat. It's common knowledge. You can look into it. There's paperwork on it. Shane Hennon is involved in this. And there's another person called Amar. He's in this as well. He is, I think, the person that's kind of conducting all these poker games and stuff. And again, like I said, the mob just are part of this collaterally, to the point where some of the people in this indictment were tasked with running these games and kicking them up, which I'll explain in some of these names.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And it sounds like, they were used as protection and muscle, if anything else. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, look, it's just interesting because if you saw the detention letter, they, the prosecutors really only want the mob guys in custody. They are not demanding that anyone else stay behind bars until trial. And this, what I'm pulling up right now, is what they are showing, I guess, as, obviously a lot of these guys have, a criminal record. They have prior convictions. So that goes into consideration as well. But they're showing these text messages between some of them, claiming that they need to break skulls. And I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, it's showing that they don't mind if they need to use violence. So
the individual Amar Awade, he is a very brazen person, due to the fact that if you read this indictment, which I know you have, he actually at one point is disillusioned with these guys and starts his own game, to which the mob guys get upset and they go at him with weapons. So yeah, this is really straight out of a film. And there's a lot of interesting people in this indictment.
Yeah. So how does a guy, like, this is just a random question, but like, his name, what is it, Awade? I mean, I thought you had to be Italian to be made. How does this guy get made?
Yeah,
he doesn't seem Italian.
Yeah, so one thing about the mob, there are people that are made members. Okay, those would be your soldiers, captains, underboss, everybody above a soldier. A soldier means you're a made member. It means you took the oath and you become a member of a family. You have to be Italian to do that. That said, there's something called a mob associate. Think of it like, let's say you have a bar in the Lower East Side. A mob guy comes in, you start becoming friends, you start kicking up some money for protection to him, you start making him money. You would be considered a mob associate. A mob associate could be anything. You're not a mobster per se. You're a way for the mob to make money. And the mob is a group that everything goes upwards. So if you're a made guy, okay, you're a made guy, you have people under you that make you money. You then take your money that you make, you push it up to your captain, your capo regime. Capo regime then kicks his money up to the upper echelon of the family, the boss, underboss, consigliere. But there are thousands of associates, mob associates.
So you don't have to be made to be an associate. Of
that's
course.
Correct. No, there's an indictment recently involving one of the people in this indictment was actually involved in another recent indictment, Joseph Lani. He actually just pled guilty last week. In his case, the separate case, there was a black male that was an enforcer. He would beat people with hammers, light things on fire. Yeah, an associate can be anybody.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I figured. I just assumed that all these guys were made for some reason. I don't know why I assumed that.
Yeah, there's a couple of names that are not. Robert Stroud is not a made guy.
Right.
And the two big people in particularly the New York games are Robert Stroud and Awade. They're both. It's funny, Lauren. I talked to one person today on this that is big in the poker community, West Coast. He told me that Awade is extremely well known in the poker community for being one of the biggest cheats in the community.
No way. There's
also another person in this indictment, a person called Curtis Meeks. He's also considered a high-profile cheater. Everybody knows who he is. Awade is very well known in the underground poker circuit.
Wow, that's so crazy. Oh my gosh. I mean, this, I guess what is just blowing my mind here is I guess not blowing my mind. I just want to know who snitched. Who made
Um,
this who made this all happen, because I mean,
Shane Hennon snitched. It's pretty clear.
wait, why is it clear? Tell me.
Well, because Shane Hennon cooperated in 2008. You don't just cooperate once and then say, hey, bye, see you later. It
Right.
wouldn't surprise me if Shane Hennon's been a CI this entire time. Shane Hennon, this is not the first time he's been involved in criminal activity. It's not the first time he's cooperated. Again, you can Google Shane Hennon cooperator and find information. It was a coke case out of Western Pennsylvania. It's pretty common knowledge that he's no good. And
So
why they did business with him, I have no idea. But
did you hear rumors that Gilbert Arenas possibly snitched, or he had a proffer agreement, right?
I think that's probably Gilbert just being Gilbert, trying to have fun with it. I keep get some of the stink off him. I don't think, maybe he knew about this. Here's what I'll say, and I don't want to initiate people that aren't in this indictment. That said, it wouldn't surprise me if higher profile people are involved with this as far as playing in these games. I know who they are. I'm not going to put them out there because I don't have proof of that yet.
Yeah.
But in these spaces, I think people need to realize these underground games, this is huge. This goes on the West Coast. This goes on the East Coast. This is going on right now in New York City tonight. And when you go to these games, Lauren, there's a reason you want to go to them. There's beautiful women doing massages. I've been to some of these games where women are topless.
I was going to say, when I was younger, I dated this guy who took me to this underground game.
Mm-hmm.
They had topless waitresses. Like,
yeah,
I think I was like 21 years old, and I was
100%.
like, oh my gosh, this is wild.
There's TVs, you can make bets, there's food, there's wine. It's really, if you've ever seen the film Rounders or even The Sopranos, they had an episode about an executive game. These are better games than casino games, even. Like, the chairs are nice, everybody's, but what I would tell people, if you ever go to a game like this, if people have phones, I would be very worried about the game being cheated. The only game I would play in is a game where phones are not involved. I played in games in LA. I play in games where you have to put your phone in a locker.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these games are no good.
I mean, I've never seen Did you see the glasses that they're alleging? I mean, that's insane. And I pulled this up earlier, but basically I have a whole other file basically with photos that I have to still download. But I mean, this was the card shuffling, the Deckmate 2 shuffler.
Which, by the way, defendants Minucci and others actually at gunpoint robbed this.
Oh, wait. It says that somewhere.
Yeah, it's down towards the bottom, but defendants Minucci and others basically stuck someone up. I would equate this, for anyone that's not kind of aware of how these work. A shuffler is a very normal thing. Every casino has them. Any poker table has them. These are made all the time. Mm-hmm. To get one made like this, I would almost relate it to if you're in the drug business, you have to get certain chemicals to make narcotics. They're not easy to get. For instance, if you make methamphetamine, you need a certain chemical, P2P. That's hard to get. So you have to go try to find it. Ghost gun, similar to ghost guns as well. You have to search a ghost gun out. They're not easy to find. Same with these. People do these. People screw with these card shuffling machines. And these guys don't pay for anything. They don't want to pay for anything. So they just think, well, we're criminals. We'll just rob it. And that's what they did with this.
Wow. I mean, and I was also shocked at this, and maybe this is just because I'm naive, but I'm just going to skip this for a minute. An X-ray table, an X-ray poker table. And also, if you notice, by the way, you had mentioned Hennon. I mean, all of this stuff most of it is from his iCloud account. That's from Hennon, the Deckmate, the computer program showing the info that was transmitted by the rigged shuffling machine. Like, if you zoom in, it says, player 7, seat 6, 3 of diamond. I mean, it's so insane. This
was a very sophisticated operation. And for anyone that's not really clear of what an underground game is, what's interesting is there are two types of underground games. One underground game is just maybe you, Lauren, and 6 of your friends have a game every week, and you bring players in and you take a portion of every pot. That is illegal. That's an illegal game. This is what these are, but they double down on it and also cheat in them as well. Yeah. So there's all sorts of different underground games. Throw in the fact that when you have gambling, the reason people don't go underground with it, like a sports book or a poker game, is you don't have to pay taxes. B, the rate goes all to you and you don't have to give it to the state. And players don't have to pay taxes. So for them, it's a way better thing than going to a casino. If you go to a casino and win more than $10,000, you got to pay taxes on that. And at the end of every year, you got to pay taxes on winnings. So this is a way to escape that.
Right. And just right here, you can probably speak to this if you know these people and you kind of know what they're about. But it basically says members of the conspiracy fulfilled these different roles to ensure the success of, their scheme. Stroud, Goodson, Hennon, and Meeks supplied the cheating technology, which obviously is what we just saw. And then game organizers, Stroud, Awade, Beecher, I don't know how to say that, sorry, Gallo, Zenhue, and Trussman arranged for games and brought in the victims, often referred to as whales or fish, to play in the game. So those guys must have somehow been connected to high rollers.
So Stroud and Becker, as well as Awade, were involved in two different games, one of which was on Lexington Avenue on the Upper West Side in New York City.
I'm on the east side on the Lexington.
East side, sorry. And then the other one was down in Lower Manhattan at 80 Washington Place.
Yeah.
So again, what's important to realize is when you are doing business in those areas, whether you're a strip club, whether you're a poker game, this has been going on for decades, back to the 40s and 50s. You pay something called a tax. Okay. It's called a street tax. You're paying it to the mob. The individuals listed underneath that, i.e., or not underneath that, but in this indictment that are mobsters, they're just taking a piece from these games. Some of these people probably never went to these games. Right. This is just a portion of the money they earn from the people underneath them.
Well, they also stated today during the presser that, they expect more arrests and they also expect more people to self-surrender. So that's insane. That to me just kind of means what you just said. More people got paid out. Maybe they weren't there, but they just made money off of it.
Yeah. So for instance, you'll see a person in this indictment, Angelo Ruggiero Jr. He's in that cheating teams under there. He was essentially just a person that was a mobster who would go to these games, make sure everything's okay there. He was essentially an overseer. He didn't play. I don't think he was involved particularly in anything nefarious. He just collected an envelope. That's really it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just getting to, the third blurb here where it talks about Bilips, and it says cheating teams participated in the rigged games either as the dealer, quarterback, or another participant who received the quarterback signals and played accordingly. Members of the cheating teams. And obviously you guys can see what it says there. And then it says Bilips and Jones in particular, members of the NBA, served as face cards, meaning they were utilized to attract victims to the games because of their status as former professional athletes. I mean, so, but Jeff, obviously they have some kind of relationship with the mob if they are all sort of.
Here's why they don't. And I'm gonna try to explain this. So according to the indictment, those two and Jones and Bilips played in games in Miami and Vegas. Okay. There is no mob involvement in those areas. Okay. The games in New York did not have celebrities, as far as I know. Maybe once in a while they would show up and play, but they don't need celebrities in those games. There's big enough players already. Vegas they would get, and look, I know of one particular athlete that was at the Vegas game. Maybe it'll come out. I'll just say he was an NBA Hall of Famer over the last 10 years. He played in the game. They were used in those games. I don't believe they ever played in any New York games. According to this indictment, there is no mention of Bilips or Jones in any of the New York games.
Well, I don't think they specify each game per se.
No,
right?
in the actual indictment itself, they go through each game and who lost what.
But I'm just saying, I guess I'm thinking that they don't have to be physically present here.
Sure. No, 100%. But what I'm trying to say is I don't believe that, I do feel bad in terms for Chauncey Billups on one level. I don't believe he had mobsters' phone numbers and they were talking to him and telling him to do things. You know how indictments work. Sometimes there's indictments where somebody doesn't even know another person. You know what I'm saying?
Totally, totally. And so then I guess this is a broader question then here. And this is, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist at all, but like, Cash Patel doesn't have the best reputation right now. He's coming out all proud with his bug eyes and he's like, yep, everybody, I'm about to, drop this shit right here and get a pat on the back. It's almost like here's something shiny. Here's a distraction because, the Epstein files are so whatever. And Charlie Kirk, that's sketchy as hell. So part of me was like, what's really going on?
What's really going on is this has happened 4 times involving the mafia over the last 2 years, where we've had very large scale gambling indictments. There was a very similar indictment that happened 3 months ago. Did you hear it? Did you hear about it yourself?
Which one in particular?
This is my point. It's not you don't know about it. Nobody knew about it. I knew about it because I cover this stuff, but this is a big story because the NBA is involved. But what I'm trying to elicit to you is they're going to try to tell you that Bilips was hanging out with the mob and stuff. I can guarantee Bilips never met one mobster ever.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm sure that probably is the case, or I'm not sure, but maybe, whatever. I just mean there was some kind of communication there. I just don't, I'm not saying either way that it's this huge deal and he's, this horrible person, because I don't know all of the facts yet. And I think that's also important. We see these indictments, we see what's written, what's alleged by prosecutors. Obviously, when you're actually in court and you're in the trial and you're in the thick of it, it's much different. So I'm really interested to see what comes out. And that's why I will definitely be attending all of these hearings in the Eastern District. I'm like, this sounds crazy, but I'm just like salivating over it. I'm like, I literally can't wait. I want to hear the truth.
And I will say, I mean, some of the people that are mobsters arrested in this are captains. I mean, they're decently high level. They're names that I've come across. I know. I mean, I mentioned one of the individuals, Joseph Lonnie, was just involved in a previous case and pled last week. It's been a bad 2 weeks for Joe Lonnie. He's a Gambino crime family captain. He's been one for years. He goes back many years in that family. There's some other long-standing mobsters in this indictment. They're not, just associates. They're made members, captains, high-profile people.
Yeah, and I wanna pull some of these pictures up. I mean, they're not great, but here's some of the guys. So you can see Zenhu, that's what, Seth Trussman.
Correct.
Yeah. And then how do you
That's on Lexington Avenue. That's outside of a bar called Sally's, right?
Yeah.
Right on Lexington Avenue.
Yes. Beach, is it Beecher? Sorry.
I believe it's Betcher.
Betcher. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So it kind of says this is the involvement, the game organizers. They made use of pre-existing illegal gambling operations. These defendants, they joined together for this rigged poker conspiracy that had already been operating, the Lexington Avenue game with the backing of the Bonanno organized crime family. And so these guys use the same locations and personnel to operate their rigged game. So, I mean, what do you think here? Do you think that they had these games going on and they were like, let me just pull in the NBA? I don't like. How do you all meet?
Again, I keep saying to anyone, like there are dozens of these games around New York City. And I think the last 2 or 3 sentences there are really important. If you notice, in particular, defendant Ziliani, who was an inducted member of the Bonanno family, and defendant Gilardo, who's an associate, supervised that game and took a portion of the proceeds. They then took it and kicked it up to their captain, defendant Ernest Aiello. Notice, he did not typically visit the gambling location, but received proceeds. So I don't believe that Ernest Aiello ever was even at that location. These 2 individuals supervised it. They had the players come in. These New York games are big. They don't need celebrities there. They're big enough already.
Yeah, but like, I also don't understand. So what, like when Chauncey Billups was here, like for a Knicks game, they randomly met. I just don't understand.
Like I said, it's just my opinion. But if you read the indictment, I don't believe Chauncey Billups ever participated in either New York game. I think it was only West Coast and or Miami.
Yeah, I guess I'm just still trying to figure out how they all got linked up into the same circle. That's all.
And the people that bridge the gap between them are people like Mr. Trussman, Mr. Stroud, Mr. Owahi. Those are the people that bridge the gap. Because if you read into this, Mr. Owahi makes a comment to Hennon. He asks him, "What family are you involved with?" He's the liaison between the mob and the players and the NBA guys.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
the one that talks to Damon Jones and Chauncey Billups. The mob's not text like Lee Fama and Joe Lonnie. Some of these mob guys, they're not like texting Billups to say, "Hey, make sure you show up to the game tonight." It's done between, some of these other people.
Yeah, no, definitely.
See right there.
Right
What
here?
family are you with now? Gambo,
Yeah.
Colombo, or Genovese? LMAO, Gambino, sir.
Is that weird? I mean, to put in a I mean, it's weird to me. I don't know.
This is the new problem with organized crime and why being a criminal like this is difficult. No, I would be using Telegram or Signal or things like that.
Yeah.
But again, these are not the smartest people in the world, and they just assume that nobody's really watching. My thought is there's a cooperator in this case, and there's been a cooperator the entire time. This is all very matter of fact.
Do you see this? They're literally trying to perpetuate acts of violence, I think, through this picture right here. And then down here, this is where Jonathan Chan, he has a bunch of different aliases, Zen Hugh. This is the assault or the extortion of John Doe 5, as you can see. And this is what they were using in the detention letter to say he needs to be held, without bail. And it's just very, it's old school, right? Watch what's good now. You've been running your mouth unchecked.
I mean, again, like we've seen a lot recently. And one of the reasons I recently did a video that the Gambino crime family right now is pretty strong. And some of the other mob families is we're starting to see them creep slower and slower back into violence. There was a no violence order for a long time by these families. There's still a no kill order. There's been no one in the mob has been killed by another mobster in over 10 years. The last one was in 2014. Most of the families are not resorting. They're under such scrutiny from the FBI that they really can't do much of anything. But we're starting to see in some of these recent indictments that have come out, the interest in beating people up, lighting things on fire, hitting people with hammers, sending goons to solve problems, that sort of thing.
Right. It's true. It's been so, I guess, quiet on the quote unquote violence front with the mob, which, I think that's why a lot of people were like, oh, I forgot the mob existed, because you just don't hear about people getting shot outside of restaurants anymore.
But again, when you I think the problem that the mob has today is the people that are coming into it, the younger people, people like Thomas Gilardo, who's in this indictment. He's quite young.
Yeah.
He didn't grow up like a John Gotti did, where it was out of necessity you joined the mob. Mm-hmm. These kids today join the mob just to hurt people and to screw with people. And it's a different type of people that are joining it now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and this is, oh my gosh, sorry. This was so stupid. They showed that stupid GIF or meme. I was like, okay, yeah. Talking about how I know it's like basically hide your kids, hide your wife. No one could figure that one out. It's just, I don't know. I go back and forth, Jeff, because I have witnessed government overreach very recently, and I am always skeptical, I guess, and I'm very skeptical right now. Specifically because of cash. And again, because I've just seen a lot of just exaggeration with the government and some of these indictments. So I
think I'll just be honest with you. In what I know about the mob, what I know about organized crime, I'd be blown away if Chauncey Billups' role in this was a particularly big one. In fact, I don't believe he had any role at all in the New York games. I don't think he ever played in New York games. I don't think he knows any of those defendants. I think there are certain people in this indictment that he got to know through the poker scene. I know myself. I know people that have told me Chauncey played on the West Coast a lot. We didn't even know he knew how to play poker. All of a sudden, he's winning in games. Do I think he was involved with cheating in the Las Vegas game? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And clearly he was involved, with Rozier and everybody else. He's,
100%.
I mean, that's pretty messed up. I get it that people do that. Obviously, you're not a murderer. You're not a
That indictment's
rapist,
more
but
problematic to him than this one.
what's that?
That indictment, the things he did
Yeah.
as a coach, to me, that's more problematic, and the NBA has a lot bigger problems with that. The poker game stuff is, you also have to ask yourself, and this is one thing I'll leave you with. I think this is important. The Jonte Porter, Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, all that. We have to ask ourselves, and particularly with Bilips and Rozier, why are people that are making tens of millions of dollars a year resorting to doing this? And I'll ask you this. I think this is one thing to think about. From what I understand, Mr. Porter did what he did with the prop bets because he owed Mr. Owahi money. That's why he did this. And it's referenced in the indictment. I have to wonder, did Rozier and Mr. Bilips have a major gambling problem? They said, we either don't want to pay or can't pay, so we'll help you do this stuff. That's what I want.
Interesting. That's
And
really
I wonder how many other people this is involved with, because I think the whole poker game thing, like, there's a lot of poker games that go on. There is a lot of cheating that goes on. He'll get in trouble for that here. His problems are more with the other indictment.
Yeah, he's just not named on it. I'm just wondering. I mean, obviously
I think they'll supersede it, probably.
I was going to say there's superseding indictments, so we'll see. Oh, also there was another. I had screenshotted it because I don't know anything about sports. I don't know who hangs out with who, and so that's kind of whatever. But there was a name. It was co-conspirator. Like I said,
3.
what was it? It was co-conspirator 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, was a resident of Florida. Co-conspirator 1 was at times an NBA player, but that's all it said. And I wasn't sure because it already mentions Jonte Porter, Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to. I don't know exactly who that is yet. I mean, I'd have to look a little bit more into it, but I don't think these are the only people involved in this. I believe it could be Malik Beasley, possibly.
Who's that?
We've heard his name pop up.
Okay.
He is not cooperating, from what I understand. He's an NBA player.
Okay.
Then again, it could be anybody. But
I'm writing that down so don't forget.
Beasley was cleared by the NBA. So was Rozier, though, and he just got arrested. So I don't know that
I was going to say they cleared him in 2023. He knew they were looking into him, the Eastern District of New York, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm clear. Let me just go back to doing this." Right. That's insane. Is that not insane?
It absolutely is. I think they have a real problem with their security at the NBA in looking into some of this stuff. But
yeah,
I think again, I think we'll learn more within a few days. But I think as far as the mob, I'll just say this: most of the mobsters arrested today, they'll go home and sleep fine tonight. This is a very normal occurrence in their world. This is really kind of a normal thing. I don't think many of them will see much prison time in this. This is really just the cost of doing business when you're in the mob.
I mean, they're facing, I think, 20 years per count.
They'll plead.
Listen. Yeah, 20 years on the wire fraud and 20 years on the money laundering, I believe. So
my guess is for most of these mob guys, I mean, some won't even go to prison over this. Some will plead out, get a few years. But for most of it, other than maybe one or two of them, some of the overseers, they're really just taking money. I mean, a lot of this is just filler stuff.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, sorry, I know you have to go. I think you have a hit. Jeff has you're going to be on live on Fox. So if anybody wants to watch that, Jeff will be on. You'll be talking about this, right?
I am. And, maybe next week we could do something else. You do a little bit longer form something or whatever.
We should, because I like I said, I'm going to stay on, guys, but they are planning to arraign them in the Eastern District in Brooklyn pretty soon. So, once I attend that, we can have some discourse after, and you can explain some of these guys.
I'm always here when you want.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff. And how can people find you if they want to follow you?
Just check me out. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. I have the YouTube channel. It's called The Sit Down with Jeff Nadu. A lot of these defendants I've actually just recently talked about. I specialize mostly in what the mob does today and over the last 20 years. That's really kind of my method of where I'm interested in. So You know, I interview whoever I can. I'm going to do some on the street stuff, go up to some of these neighborhoods and try to speak to some of these people, do some Geraldo Rivera type stuff. So we'll see where it goes.
I
Thank you
love
for
it.
having me. I'm sure I'll talk
Yeah,
to you
no,
soon.
thanks for joining. And thanks, Jeff. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Right.
All right. So guys, I want to just also point out, wow, sorry, my face just got so big. So obviously the Bilips and Rozier, they're on leave from the NBA. I'm trying to find if they made a statement at all. So I know that Bilips appeared in court in Portland, and he acknowledged his right to remain silent with a yes. And this is from a reporter from an NBC affiliate in Portland. And he didn't make any type of plea at his appearance in federal court in Portland. And he was released on conditions after an agreement between prosecutors and defense attorneys. They made, I don't know exactly what that is because it's not available yet. But the conditions include travel restrictions, obviously no gambling activity, a no contact order, and then certain standard conditions regarding firearms and whatnot. I'm not sure exactly who the no contact order is with per se, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And also Rozier was released from federal custody in Orlando, Florida today. So he was actually asked to put his home up as collateral. And he just walked out of the courthouse of his own accord. He waived his right to have his future hearings in Florida. And his next expected court date, which I think this might mean the same for Bilips, I'm not sure, is December in Brooklyn. So we've got some time. I'm so bummed I have to wait that long. And obviously the judge ordered him not to gamble in person and also online as well. Let me see what else. Yeah, it's like there's so much at this point, I feel like, just to go over and keep up with on this case. And I'm still going through all of the documents. I mean, it was a day. I was trying my hardest to, get through everything, but there's just a lot between the indictments, the photographic evidence, the detention letters, the press release. It's crazy. I think that what will be helpful though for me is to actually learn a little bit more about the NBA, about these players, who they hang out with, so I could just try to figure out who some of these co-conspirators are. Because I just, at this point, I'm like, man, a basketball player, a former player in Florida, awesome. No idea. And I don't know if anybody else would know that either, but whatever. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the indictment, the presser, whatever. Kash Patel said that the NBA is cooperating, or cooperating fully, which is good. I mean, they don't really have a choice here. But I thought Jeff had some really interesting information just about the mob in general and about kind of how it's funny. You think about it. They're like, yeah, we're gonna sleep fine tonight. We are not worried about this at all. They've probably been doing this for a long time. Their lawyers know how to handle it, and so we'll see. Let me see. I missed this, Daisha. 3 years max for most people walking. Tell me what that was pertaining to, just because I missed some of the chat. Yeah, totally missed that. Sorry. Rozier's mom apparently was in court to emphasize that he wasn't a flight risk. So, they didn't hold him without bail. There is an interim head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers, Tiago Splitter. That means nothing to me, but maybe you guys will care for the time being. Because yes, they've been placed on immediate leave. And Jonte Porter, he was mentioned in the indictment, and he apparently pled guilty in 2024 to another betting scandal. I did not know about that, but obviously there's a lot of shady stuff in the NBA in the last couple of years, including Gilbert Arenas. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of them do get, what do you call it? The criminal informant deals or whatever. But This is so funny. Like Donnie Brasco, I've not seen that in so long. Yeah, so I don't really, I don't really have much else, because if you want to see more of the indictment, I went over a lot of them very quickly today. But yeah, if anyone else has anything they want to ask or bring up, I'll hang out for another second before I finally. I'm sweating, you guys. Sorry, it's so hot in my house. You remember Dante because his brother was defending him at a press. Oh, his brother. Yeah. See, I know nothing. I need to figure this out. I know absolutely nothing about NBA players. It's horrible. So horrible. But yeah, I'll be doing a whole write-up on the indictments and all of this for LA Magazine tomorrow. So I'll post that on my Twitter. There's so much going on right now. So much news. I really can't keep up. Oh, and there's Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk suspect. There's a closed hearing in Utah tomorrow. I'm so confused about that. The Charlie Kirk stuff. I'm not, take the banner down. Sorry. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or anything. I'm really not. I don't trust the state of Utah. I still don't quite understand why it's not a federal case. I mean, I do understand. I'm talking about Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk. I've totally switched. I don't know. It's strange to me. And for me, I go back to the text messages between Tyler Robinson and his lover, and they're just so fake. No 22-year-olds. I don't care who you are. You wouldn't write like that. You wouldn't admit your entire plan on a text message. You wouldn't be like, check under the keyboard for a note I wrote you. I just don't think that, it doesn't make sense to me at all. And yeah, no federal cases are televised, unfortunately. The Mark Sanchez hearing yesterday, I was all excited to stream that, and it lasted 5 minutes because cameras were admitted in the courtroom in Indiana, which usually, judges have, they have the final call on that. But most judges in Indiana are not a big fan of cameras in court. So, but yeah, so that hearing, the Utah hearing for Tyler Robinson, I think it's at 3, but again, I think it's a closed door hearing. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going on there. It just doesn't sit right with me. It's hard to explain. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I'm exhausted. So thanks everyone for joining last minute. Love you all. And I'll be back for a Celeste and David live stream. I did promise that. So yeah, I'll be back for that at another time. Okay. Good night, everyone.